Math, lesson 119. Open your workbook to lesson 119 and find part 1. You're going to answer questions and show why your answers are correct. The fact says that A over B equals a whole number. The problem shows that you're multiplying A over B times 1/2. Get ready to answer the questions. Question A. Will the answer be more than A over B, less than A over B, or equal to A over B? What's the answer? Less than A over B. Question B. If A over B equals 5, will the answer be a whole number? What's the fraction answer? 5/2. Is 5/2 a whole number? No. Question C. If A over B equals 8, will the answer be a whole number? What's the fraction answer? 8/2. What whole number is 8/2? 4. Write the answers to questions A through C. Here's an example with A over B equal to 10. Let's see if the answer is less than 10. Can we simplify 10/2? Yes. The simplified value of 10/2 is 5. Your turn. Below the equation, write a different whole number value for A over B so that the answer is a whole number. Multiply by 1/2 and show the answer. Here's the next problem. We want to multiply A over B by something and end up with more than A over B. Question D says, do we multiply A over B by more than 1 or less than 1? Write the answer. What's the answer? More than 1. Here's the next problem. A over B times 3. Question E says, do we multiply A over B by more than 1 or less than 1? What's the answer? More than 1. F. How many times greater than A over B is the answer? 3 times greater. G. If A over B equals 7, what will the answer be? 21. Now find part 2 in your workbook. You're going to draw lines for 2 rules. One rule gives the X value, the other rule gives the Y value. Here are the rules for line A. Add 3, add 9. Start with 0 and write the 3 rules for X and the 3 values for Y. Show the comma and parentheses for each point. Here's what you should have. Plot the points for line A. Draw the line and write the letter A above it. Like so. Make sure your line goes all the way to the top of the coordinate system, right here. You're going to plot another line. It starts at 0, 0, 0, 0. The X rule is add 4. The Y rule is add 8. Write the 3 values for X and the 3 values for Y. Show the comma and parentheses for each point. Here's what you should have for line B. And here's the actual line for B. Make sure your line goes all the way to the top of the coordinate system. For line A, how many times greater is Y than X? It is 3 times greater. And for line B, how many times greater is Y than X? It is 2 times greater. The items beside the coordinate system show coordinates for points. You're going to identify whether each point is on line A or line B. The coordinates for R are 3, 6. Figure out how many times greater y is than 6, and write the letter of the line for 3, 6. This should be going on line B. Yes, y is 2 times x, so the point goes on line B. Plot point R and label it, like so. The coordinates for P are 5, 15. Figure out how many times greater y is than x and the letter of the line for 5, 15. This should go on line A. Yes, y is 5, 15 is y is 3 times x, so the point goes on line A. Plot point P, like so. Write the letter A or B for the rest of the points and plot the points. Pause the video now. Resume when you're ready to check. Here's what you should have. Now find part 3 in your workbook. You're going to make equal groups and shade some of the groups to show the answer to the problem. Problem A is 2/3 times 15. You're going to make 3 equal groups. And you're going to shade 2 of those groups, just like so. Overall, you shaded 10 squares. We can check the answer by working the problem 2/3 times 15. We'll multiply 2 times 15, then divide by 3. Don't simplify, just work the problem. The answer? 10. That's the answer we got by showing the groups. Problem B, 3/4 times 12. Make the diagram with eggs, shade 3/4 of the eggs. Check your work. Pause the video now to work it. Resume when you're ready to check. Here's what you should have. There are 3 eggs in each group. You shaded 3 groups. Overall, you shaded 9 eggs. We'll do the multiplication and division to check your answer. The problem for the numerators is 3 times 12. Then you divide by 4. You should get the answer 9. Now switching gears to decimal operations. You're going to work problems that multiply tenths. You'll show that you get the same answers if you write the values as fractions or as decimals. We start with a decimal problem. This problem reads 5/10 times 6/10. The answer is 30 hundredths. We get the answer if we multiply fractions and work the problem without simplifying. 5/10 times 6/10. 5 times 6 equals 30. 10 times 10 equals 100. So 5/10 times 6/10 equals 31 hundredths. That's the same answer we got when we worked the decimal problem. This is the same as this. This is the same as this. This is the same as this. Here's a picture of 5/10 times 6/10. 5 across out of 10 are shaded in, and 6 down are shaded in out of 10, making this box. The shaded area gives the answer to the problem. The shaded area is 30 100ths. You have 30 squares shaded in out of this 100. It's the same as these two. That's the decimal answer we got. So it doesn't matter if we work a fraction problem or a decimal problem. The answer is still 30 hundredths. Now find part 4 in your workbook. You can see the decimal problem and the fraction problem. Read the decimal problem. 1 5/10 times 4/10. Work the problem. Pause the video now to do the work. Resume when you're ready to check. Here's what you should have. We get the same answer if we work the fraction problem right here. We change 1 and 5/10 into a fraction, 15/10. So working it across, 15 times 4 is 60, 10 times 10 is 100, 60 100ths. It's the same. Remember, you can work a decimal problem as a fraction problem. The answer is the same value. Now please open your textbook to lesson 119 and find part 1 for some fraction comparisons. For some of these problems, you have to rewrite both fractions. For others, you only rewrite one fraction. Problem A, the fractions are 7/5 and 13/10. Copy the fractions, do the rewriting, and complete the original statement. Pause the video now to work the problem. Resume when you're ready to check your work. You should have only rewritten one fraction. That fraction that you rewrote was 7/5. You turned it into 14/10. So, which is more, 7/5 or 13/10? 7/5 is larger. Problem B, 7/4 and 8/5. Pause the video now to do the work. Resume when you're ready to check. You should have rewritten both of those fractions. 7/4 turns into 35 20ths, and 8/5 turns into 32 20ths. So, which is more, 7/4 or 8/5? 7/4 is a larger fraction. Problem C, 3/6 and 5/9. Pause the video now to work the problem. You should have rewritten both of those fractions. 3/6 turns into 9/18 and 5/9 turns into 10/18. So which is more, 3/6 or 5/9? 5/9 is the larger fraction. Problem D, 3/4 and 9/12. Pause the video now to work the problem. You should have only rewritten one fraction. The fraction you rewrote was 3/4. You turned it into 9/12. So which is greater, 3/4 or 9/12? They're actually equal. This is how we turned it into the same denominator, and it turns out to be the same fraction. Please find part 2 in your textbook. Some of these problems have answers that are possible. Some have answers that are impossible. You're going to write possible or impossible for each item. If the answer is impossible, you'll write a sentence or two that tells why the answer is impossible. Item A, 3/5 plus 2/20 equals 7/10. Is the answer more than half or less than half? The answer is more than half. Is the first number more or less than 1/2? The first number is more than 1/2. Is the other number more or less than 1/2? The other number, 2/20, is less than 1/2. The problem starts with a number that is more than 1/2 and adds. It has an answer that is more than 1/2. So this answer is possible. Write the word possible for A. Item B, 3/5 minus 2/20 equals 5/10. Write the word possible or impossible to tell about the answer. You should be writing possible. Yes, the answer is possible. You're starting with a number that is more than 1/2. You're subtracting, so the answer could be 1/2, which is also 5/10. Problem C, 3/5 plus 6/10 equals 18/20. Is this possible or impossible? The answer is impossible because both numbers are added are more than 1/2, so the answer cannot be less than 1. Problem D, 3/5 minus 2/20 equals 11/10. Is this possible or impossible? Why or why not? It's impossible. You're starting with less than 1 and subtracting, so the answer should not be more than 1 or a top-heavy fraction. Let's switch gears to sentences for single letter equations. Listen, 5/8 of the material weighed 40 pounds. We're going to write an equation for this sentence. 5/8 of the material weighed 40 pounds. The equation will have only one letter. We're going to use the letter M to represent material. 5/8 M. The rest of the sentence tells that it weighed 40 pounds. For weighed 40 pounds, we're just going to write equals 40. This is how it should look. 5/8 M for materials equals 40 pounds. 1/7 of the bricks cost $75. How should this equation look? We'll change bricks into B and $75 to equal 75. Your answer should be 1/7 B equals 75. Find part 3 in your textbook. For each sentence, you'll write an equation. Item A, 4/7 of the pens cost $88. Pause the video now to write your answer. 4/7 P equals 8. B, 2/3 of the gravel weighed 502 pounds. Pause the video to write your answer. 2/3 G equals 502. Item C, 6/7 of the water was 5/8 gallon. Pause the video now to write the answer. 6/7 W equals 5/8. Item D, 3/10 of the classroom was 500 square feet. Pause the video now to write your answer. 3/10 C equals 500. Before you begin your independent work, I want to review part 4 in your textbook. Some of the equations you'll write for this part have 2 letters. I'll read the part of each problem that tells about the equation you write. Problem A, 3/5 of the jeans cost $240. The letter equation is 3/5 J equals 240. Problem B, Henry is 5/4 the age of his barn. The letter equation is H equals 5/4 B. Problem C, the new car is 2/3 the weight of the used car. The equation is N equals 2/3 U. Problem D, the turtle was 7/5 the age of the parrot. The equation, T equals 7/5 P. Problem E, 3/4 of the eggs weigh 24 ounces. The answer, 3/4 E equals 24. Your independent work begins now. Your independent work you have textbook, four through 8, and workbook part 5. Reach out to me if you need help with anything. Otherwise, get busy.